A Chicago Bears columnist writes that 3 Chicago Bears could be on the lookout for All-Pro. I'm going to talk about whether or not he's on point, as well as some upcoming contract news on this episode of Chicago Bears Breeze. What's going on, everybody? My name is Philip Charles VanDerHeyden IV, a.k.a. Philly the Fourth. I'm here with you wearing a scarf. Why? Who knows? I'm just doing it. I'm rolling with it. But, all right, on this episode, while we're kind of waiting around for training camp to start and everything else, Anthony Miller of Bear Goggles On wrote an article that I thought was kind of fun to talk about on Chicago Bears Breeze. And so I'm going to talk about the 3 players that he brought up as players that could be on the lookout for All-Pro this season. And I'll talk about whether or not I agree or whether I would have had other players on this list as well. So first, he talks about kind of the only one to me that was a little bit out of nowhere, and that is Kobe Bryant. Reading his excerpt, among the defensive players, Montez Sweat might be the only other one that could be considered for making an All-Pro team, but why not Bryant? Last year, a Bear safety, Kevin Byard, was an All-Pro, leading the NFL in interceptions with 7, so Bryant could do the same thing. Bryant might not be the playmaker that Byard is, but he can do more and play more consistently in coverage than Byard. Watch for Bryant to use his instincts in pass coverage to pick off more footballs and have a career year under Dennis Allison's scheme that is perfect for his skill set. Now, this isn't a bad choice. I think that there's multiple players. If you're going to choose 3, right, from the Bears team that could potentially make All-Pro, are these the top 3? I'll go through the next 2 and then we could talk about it. But I think Kobe is the one guy that I might look at and change. But let's get through the other ones first. So he also has Colston Loveland. And here he writes, Colston Loveland had a strong rookie season with the Bears, going for 713 yards and 6 touchdowns, both categories leading or tied for the lead on the team. It was a slow start to the 2025 campaign, but after his 118-yard, 2-touchdown game against the Cincinnati Bengals, the light switch was turned on, and no defense could switch it off for the rest of the season. Entering 2026, Loveland is expected to put up even bigger numbers, with some already believing he's one of the top 20 players in the NFL. If he repeats what he did in the back half of 2025, he might be in for some record-breaking stats in year 2. I'll tell you what, man, that's some high praise for Colston Loveland. I'm here to tell you that it is all warranted. Colston Loveland is a dog, and the only thing that might hold him back from literally blowing out like all of the Chicago Bears tight end receiving records this season is the fact that the Bears are loaded at wide receiver as well. Like, if the Bears didn't have as good of wide receivers, I could see Colston Loveland having an enormous season, and he's probably going to have one anyways. However, Luther Burden and Rome Odunze are going to get some pay too, and then you've also got Cole Kmet, and hell, Sam Roosh, we just drafted him. Will he have a role on this team? I think he will. Ben Johnson doesn't draft people for no reason, especially on the offensive side of the ball. But let's get to the last player that he selected for his potential 3 Chicago Bears that would be on the All-Pro team, and that is Caleb Williams. This feels like the easiest choice on the team, but Williams almost feels like he's in for a monster season in year 3 of the NFL. Last season, a small glimpse of his future was shown as he threw a franchise record 3,942 yards and scored 31 total touchdowns while throwing just 7 interceptions. From the insane throws to the 7 comebacks and game-winning drives he had to lead last year, Williams is only getting better as the quarterback in this league. This is the season where he puts it all together and becomes a megastar that the franchise has never seen in the most important position. That's a fact, my friends. And I know, like, in the short time I've been, hosting this channel, I've talked about Caleb Williams a lot. But to be honest, how could you not, right? Caleb Williams is somebody that we've never seen before in this franchise. The only player that can come even close to even approaching the talent that Caleb has is Jay Cutler. And I do love me some Smokin' Jay. I was a big fan his entire career. I thought the Bears did him a disservice by not giving him a complete team at all when he was here. With that being said, he blows Jay Cutler out of the water too. Jay did have that fourth quarter comeback thing, although Jay was not good against Green Bay. his all-time record against Green Bay was abysmal. Could you argue that sometimes he didn't have the proper weapons, especially at first with the Bears? Yes. With that being said, though, even when he did have the weapons, regardless of whether or not his defense was good, he just always played badly against the Packers. Even when he had outstanding seasons, for whatever reason, the Packers were just a team he could not seem to get it right against. Aaron Rodgers clowned him. And so Jay fell short in that category. And the other thing is, Jay, for all of his arm talent, wasn't doing things that we've never seen before in the NFL. He just had a rocket arm, right? Caleb, on the other hand, is doing things that only Patrick Mahomes has done. And even then, I would argue that Caleb does some stuff that we've never seen before. The jump man that he does, completely unique. Nobody does that. The way that he rifles that ball in while doing the jump man on the rollout is one of the most incredible sights you'll ever see when you slow down and watch it. Like when you put on the film and you slow it down and you just watch his body. It's insane. Like, I don't know if we'll ever see a player with that kind of unique signature move. Like it's incredible. It's almost like he's a basketball player who has moves, who has a bag. Whereas in the NFL, if you're a good QB, you're a good QB. You've seen one, you've seen 1,000, you've seen them all, right? It's, if he's got a lightning quick release, and Caleb Williams looks like any other guy with a lightning quick release when he's in the pocket. But his ability to evade the rush in combination with the jump man that he does is some of the most incredible football playing I've ever seen at the quarterback position. And we've only seen it for 2 seasons, Bears fans. We're going to get Caleb for his whole career, right? And so before I move on, and let me make sure you remember that, keeping him for his career. The other thing I'll say is that for the 3 players that he chose to be the All-Pro, I would say Colston and Caleb are good choices. For the third one, instead of Kobe Bryant, I might be more inclined for 2 different people. One is Luther Burden III. I think that his yak ability could be incredible this season. Now, maybe Colston Loveland takes so much of it that Luther Burden doesn't stand out on an all-pro level. But I think it's entirely possible that Luther Burden has well over 1,000 yards. And it's not because I think Rome's going to have a good season too, but Luther's yak ability is going to just add something to his play. And I just feel like Luther Burden III is about to break out in a massive way. I mean, he did last season, but now he's going to be starting. Now he's going to be getting a lot more snaps. It's going to be crazy what I think what Luther Burden is able to do. I'll say 3 different Bears, actually, that you could put there. 2, look, man, how can you not say – I guess he did say new Bears, so maybe not Joe Thuney, right? Never mind. So I'll take that out. Joe Thuney's been there, done that. But the other Bear that I'll talk about, Jalen Johnson. Now, I don't know if Jalen Johnson – I can't remember if the article was written as if, like, Bears that could make their first All-Pro. If that's the way that it was written, then – because I can't remember, has Jalen Johnson been an All-Pro off the top of my head? Yes, he has been an All-Pro. Sorry about that, guys. I should have known that. But he earned second-team All-Pro in 2023. Okay, I'll go a step further. I believe that he could be a first-team All-Pro this season. I really do, because all indications from what we're hearing from the OTAs is that Jalen Johnson looks special out there. So I'm fully prepared. Like, this guy, he didn't have a great season last year. And as much as Jalen Johnson can kind of be, he's got an ego. We all know that. That's kind of a requirement for a guy like him. If you want to be locking up people like that, you kind of have to have that belief in yourself. But he also knows that he had a bad year last year overall. Like, he missed a lot of the season. And then when he played, he just didn't look like himself, right? To the point where I was like, well, maybe we should think about trading him. I take that back because, look, if he's going to be at his peak, the Jalen Johnson we all know and love, then we should keep him because he is a lockdown cornerback when he's at his best. And the Bears defense could use that at like big time considering their lack of pass rush might be a problem. But those are the two, that I would say could be. I think Jalen could be a first-team All-Pro, and I think Luther Burden III could break out. And now, look, Rome Odunze could too. But for now, I'm going to choose Luther because I think his yak ability will result in him having a higher statistical season than, Rome Odunze. I'm sorry, I will have three. The other Bear that I think that could become an All-Pro for the first time, Darnell Wright. Look out for him. He's been on the upswing his entire career. He's only gotten better. He's entering, I believe, his fourth season. I believe it's his fourth season, third or fourth. Off the top of my head, Darnell Wright, how many seasons? He's played 3 NFL seasons. Okay, so he's about to enter his 4th NFL season. That's what I thought. So I believe that, he's actually earned All-Pro second team in 2025. I think he can earn first team this year. Okay, so Jalen Johnson and Darnell Wright, I believe, can make first team All-Pro, but Luther Burden III might be making his first one. Now, going back to the pin that I put in with Caleb Williams being here for the rest of his career. Let's talk a little bit of Caleb Williams' contract news. Now, this isn't nearly as fun as talking about how good he might play because, let's be honest, you guys, Caleb Williams isn't going to come cheap, right? When you're talking, this is going to be new territory for Bears fans. They're probably going to hate the number. If I know Chicago fans and sports fans in general, they're usually pretty cheap, right? Like, how often do you hear someone say that we paid somebody too much? It happens all the time. Very rarely do you hear people say we should have paid him more, right? Like, that's just how people feel. Caleb Williams is going to set the record, right? He's going to set the market is what I mean. That's just how this works. Like, when Caleb Williams gets his contract, with the way he's been playing and the special stuff he's been doing, and especially if he makes All-Pro this season, which is why you'd actually, if you can, I can't remember if they already can. I think they can, but I'm not 100% sure. If you could get that contract in place right now, you do it. But to be honest with you, I wouldn't be surprised if you have to, or if Caleb sits on it intentionally, because if he goes out and has an All-Pro season this year, it's going up. Not to mention, there's another quarterback who's looking for a new deal, and if he gets it, it's going to reset the market, and the Bears will unfortunately pay the price of having to, outdo that one. And the quarterback I'm talking about is Lamar Jackson. A couple of excerpts here from an article. The biggest question may not be whether Williams gets a record-setting contract, but how high the market climbs before negotiations begin. If Jackson resets the quarterback market at $70 million annually, other elite quarterbacks could follow, making Williams' eventual price tag steeper should his development continue on its current path. Every new blockbuster deal raises the financial bar for the next quarterback in line, and Williams appears positioned to eventually join that conversation. If he continues to develop under head coach Ben Johnson and takes the Bears back into playoff contention, Chicago's leverage could shrink considerably. That's why the Bears front office is already preparing for the inevitable. Williams has shown flashes of the elite arm talent, creativity, and leadership that made him the number 1 overall pick, and the organization is clearly viewing him as its long-term answer at the position. And yes, Bears fans, that's the key right there. Williams is the guy. At no point ever in this negotiation are the Bears they're not going to play hardball, right? They're going to set the market. They're going to do it probably the way Williams wants. They might maybe get some, I don't know about the intricacies of like how much is guaranteed. That's a big thing. Is he going to have all of it guaranteed? He might ask for that because he's Caleb Williams. Like, at the end of the day, Bears fans, we got to do whatever we got to do to make this guy happy. The last thing that we want is for Caleb Williams to have his mind set on anything other than football. And I don't think there's going to be a problem here. We know how good he is. The Bears know how good he is. The NFL knows how good he is. The Bears aren't taking some crazy shot. We're not paying Kirk Cousins, right? We're paying Caleb Williams. So there's some guys where you just throw your hands up and you say, hey, that's the guy. You pay the guy. Patrick Mahomes is a great example. When the Chiefs paid him, it was like a 10-year, $500 million contract, if I remember right. Something nuts. Look, it's going to be similar, and it should be. Lock this dude up. Like, there's no reason not to. Like, we want this guy to be our franchise quarterback. He's durable as hell. That's another piece of this, right? Some quarterbacks are super frail. I mean, Lamar Jackson's kind of a good example of that. The dude gets hurt. Caleb is a freaking Iron Man. The guy had gotten beat up and hit more than any QB, I think, ever in his first season, other than maybe David Carr. And he went out, never missed a game, and kept balling out, even beating Green Bay in the season finale, despite getting his ass kicked all season. Like, if that doesn't tell you this dude's made of literal stone, then nothing else will. Like, this dude is as sturdy as it gets at the quarterback position. He's Brett Favre with the jump, man. I mean, that's just, when I say Brett Favre, I only mean in his durability, because he doesn't want to be Brett Favre in any other way. Trust me. But that's all I got, you guys. At the end of the day, whatever we pay Caleb Williams, it's going to be worth it. I know that some Bears fans, I know the old school fans are going to be like, oh my God. And because the Bears have never had to do this. They've never had to pay a quarterback this much money. Like, Jay Cutler did cost a lot, but I don't think he set the market. Like, he was up there, but I don't think that he was ever number one. And that makes sense. Williams is going to be different. And that's something we have to accept, Bears fans. Ryan Poles, if he's shown one thing, is that he is very good at taking care of the salary cap. Now, his skills will be put to the test with Caleb Williams, because having to put together a team while you have a quarterback making $70 million a year is going to be a whole new ball game for Ryan Poles. But he's been very good so far. And this is exactly why the way he's been operating, unlike his predecessor, Ryan Pace, he's been cautious with the way he's spent assets, has not gone crazy with the cap. He's been very, he's taken some chances that didn't work out. Odeyingbo, you better be motivated this season. But overall, Ryan Pace has managed the cap extremely well, especially compared to his predecessor. And so you got to think that he should be able to keep up the same level of, skill once we sign Caleb to his big deal. It's going to come down to the draft too. If you're not hitting in the draft, it's going to be ugly, because you can't pay all these guys to come in free agency. You could pay a few, but one of the best teams that continue to win, they continue to win because they draft well. Kansas City, New England before them. Like, they draft well, or they know how to get good bargains on the free agent market, who maybe don't cost a lot to the rest of the NFL, but they're perfect for your scheme. And they have familiarity, and you get them for a good price, and that's how you do it. But we'll see what happens. It's exciting territory, you guys. We want to be here. We want to be paying a quarterback like this, because this is how championships are won, and it is how dynasties are started. I know I said it. We've got to win one for that to really be real. But I'm not saying it's going to happen. All I'm saying is that it's possible, Bears fans. You could say that we might be that team. We've got to break through, though. Caleb Williams, that's where you're up, my friend, and Ben Johnson. Get it done. Good, better, best, baby. Bear down. As always, long live the Chicago Bears, but most importantly, long live you, Breeze Nation. Let me know if you dig the scarf. Please leave a like and a subscribe if you're not subscribed. And, have a great night, my friends. Peace out.